Good morning. Off to a bit of a slow start here. I kind of slept in. Also, let me just really quick zoom in on face. Let me make sure I'm nice and focused. Forehead shot. There we go. Okay. Actually, no, I think I'm still on Crystal. Right? Yeah. I gotta make my way back to Fafnir. Because I can't attune to Razat Han. I can't fly. Oh, invisible wall. Okay. Apologies again. I hope we didn't force you to conclude your conversation prematurely. What are you and Vitra talking about? Nothing. Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead to the High Crucible. Let's catch up with them. The attendant was kind enough to give me directions to the High Crucible. First, let's return to the mulberry orchard. I understand mulberries are for silkworms. Grown a stone's throw away from the satrap residence. It gives the quintessential Thabnarian flair, don't you think? From here, we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. The word Yuji apparently means bird in the local tongue. This district is named because it connects to all others in the city. If we managed to come this far, we shouldn't have trouble finding the High Crucible, or so I was told. When the street turns, enter the door straight ahead and descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Razat Han. The architecture and decorations make it even harder to get your bearings. Anyway, let's see where this door takes us. Aetheryte! They said this part was locked off. Attune. According to the message of the base, this Aetheryte has been temporarily disabled. Fucking... Seems we're on the right track. Here's the Aetheryte Plaza. So far, so good. There isn't much further to go. From here, we need to cross the other side of the hall and then pass through the larger of two doorways. High Crucible lies beyond. I suspect the others have already collected warding scales. Let's join them. I'm the warrior of light. Let me attune. Though this land hath been afforded a respite, in turmoil do many others languish, still our work is far from finished. Took your time? Got turned around, I take it? We're last, of course, but at least we found the place. This is the Endwalker music.
These are the talismans we were promised.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for. Enough to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations. Of course, we would need to consult with various alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Please, I must speak with you.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I've been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Thavnair from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? Is this true?
This just has Undertale. So much of the Endwalker music has Undertale vibes.
Oh, I was so groggy from sleep. I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
Flower.
Look at that! Its color is completely changed.
What do you have there? How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions.
That's the name of the song for the Fate music.
Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities.
Yeah, limit break.
That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
It's limit break, gotcha.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research. Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense. You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
Shall we depart for Charlian then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the Annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
The last thing I remember before being absorbed into the tower was you rushing towards me. I can only imagine the hardships you and yours must have overcome to rescue us. No amount of words suffice to express my gratitude, but I hope the flower's radiant glow says everything I could not. Oh, she's in... It's good to be back, and with the fruit of our labors safely in storage. For now, we have but to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings with the Alliance leaders. As Thancred suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. Welcome back. Kryles praised me for recent accomplishments. What amazing feat to eliminate a tower and pave the way to deal with the rest. Well, it isn't much. I've changed your sheets and plumped into your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing in a nice clean bed after completing a major malmstone. Be it penning a thesis or defeating deiform entities. So would you take a look at your new and improved lodgings now?
Take heart and protect them well.
Aww.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
I love these moments where the gang's just hanging out. Burger! Oh no, it's falling apart.
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinien as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinien, beset on all sides.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Quile, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
You short boy. with Kryle here, who's literally like 2 feet tall. Are we pushing on until dawn? Sleeps for the weak. The warrior of light never implies his friends need to sleep.
I'm not that ambitious. But 'tis pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
The flower is... Yeah.
Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is... equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough
He
to
thinks
set
we're
my
hot.
soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow.
Okay, really, he's making this sound sexual.
Once more, and then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn. Burn. Let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Hope you don't mind us barging into your room for our late-night feast. For what it's worth, it did me a word of good to put our troubles to the side. A world of good. If only for a moment. Sound the bell, school's in. There you are, feeling refreshed, I hope. I was about to make my way to the studium, as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with Scholar Montechain and thank him for coming to our rescue in the Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Thavnir. Knowing him, it was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. Since we're still waiting for Y'shtola and the others, I thought it now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Come join me? And it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to the phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studium for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, I'll tell them that we'll not be long. Like some of the Scions, I'm not an alumni of the studium. As such, I have no acquaintances there whom I'm obliged to visit. While I would love nothing more than to pore over so many great tomes of phenomenon, I fear my presence would stir up more unwanted trouble. So, for now, I'll be patient, much as it pains me to do so. Nope. Nope, they're just right outside the annex. I shouldn't have left. Father can master these fiendish contraptions, and so can I. Heading out for a stroll? The Scholarch himself was here. In that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studium. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Alphino, of all people worrying over his reputation, and at our alma mater, no less. Will wonders never cease? You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Feels like only yesterday I first walked through these doors. See that sculpted picture above the entrance? That's the mark of Thaliak, the scholar, bearer of the waters of knowledge. It's no exaggeration to say that Charlian itself is one enormous shrine to him, And that's especially notable here in the studium. Here it is, Phenomenon. Well, while I expect you made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? While most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums, it also hosts numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. As the center of what would later become the studium, it was established to promote the study of ethereological phenomena, hence the name. Though, with ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the Sixth Astral Era, Phenomenon was decreed complete and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it's without question the world's leading authority in etherology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Charlian's foremost educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech, such as his undying love for his old stomping ground. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts and etherology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious as scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me, nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors, and I'm certainly not the studium's most notorious master debater. In all respects, I have ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Leveilleur began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know that better than anyone the adoration of the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholark Montaigne. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. That was Alphino Leveilleur, wasn't it? The Alphino Leveilleur and his sister, Master Balducian's granddaughter. This can only mean one thing. An event of an epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word. Oh, sorry. You said you're looking for the Scholark, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Alipos should have a better idea. Hi, Boric. Dear, am I ever going to find a craftsman for the professor? Are you lost? Wander off in the street, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? How silly of me. An orientation's in order. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to the Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What's the most important thing you'll find in the studium? That's right, books! And what's the second most important? Why, it's that's simple. Everything else. That's what we deal here in the Searcher's Meet. When a students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us, and we don't, if we don't have it in our stores, we have, send the gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Passia this, tongue of giant toad that, it's enough to make your hair stand on end, which is possibly what some of the students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the Scholark's whereabouts. Beg your pudding? You're not a gleaner, then this is all an elaborate ruse? No, wait, come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meat. Go back the way you came, you'll see that on the opposite side of the entrance is a laboratory of sorts. Home to many rare and expensive curios, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. Ah, in time, it's taken me to tell you this, so Scholar has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need it. Yes, the Scholar was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't remember him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor, perhaps one of the auditoriums? Yeah, there we go.
Remember you?
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that Inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the Annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
I hope Mont the Change isn't secretly evil. I like him.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat.
Exposition time. Give me the sweet lore. Also, morning, Luneza.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms. 2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third?
Magic?
Not entirely inaccurate, but nor is it the answer I was looking for. That would be corporeal ether. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it.
Welcome to the...
Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
I know this one, Warriors of Light. The Warriors of Light.
The 7th Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Charlene prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
Yeah, memories of the final days.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable.
I think it's the whole one because speaking about Asians, I think the reborn thing makes more sense. I am traumatized by something.
Well, I think that's enough education for today. Now that I've given you some food for thought, or rather, an entire banquet.
You can see, like, Matoya's...
Although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend. Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
Montachain's a cool guy, I like him. While Scarlet Montachain is best known for his role as the head of the Studium, he's said to be one of the finest mages Sharlayan's ever produced. Having seen for myself the ease with which he weaves in extraordinarily complex and powerful magics, I have no reason to doubt the claim. Some of my earliest memories are of Scholar Montachain, actually. He was a close friend of our grandfather. He would come for tea and amaze us with his tricks, much like his demonstration with the paper and ink. He's hugely a part of why I wanted to enter the Studium in the first place. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the Forum's true motivations, and the mysteries of life itself, for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave with more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in the days to come. On that note, let's head back to the Annex. Perhaps on the way, you could better acquaint yourself with Ki Aliapo, as the scholar suggested, while I share our findings with Raha. It sounds like the Ki Aliapo stuff is specifically crafter nonsense that I'm not going to deal with right now. I need to go talk to my boyfriend. Yeah, what is this? The faculty? It's probably crafter nonsense if I can't do it right now. Hi, Estinien. How's your brooding going? I've spent most of my time in Thavnir. I've yet to fully grasp the lie of the lie of the land here in Sharlayan. Even finding my way to the Annex proved a challenge. Estinien returned not long after we departed from the Studium. A shame that he missed our chance to attend a lecture with the Scholar, or perhaps not. Oh, I meant to talk with the other gang. Oh well. Welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studio proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow scions. As expected, the news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive? It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinien? They better not be missing or something. Okay, no, they're here. I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain, though. Vritra and the alchemists of the Great Work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that will go. I shall remain here, and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Motoya and our other allies. With luck, we shall soon have good news of our own to share. The tide's about to turn, I can feel it. To Limsa. Why am I clicking that? Limsa. Wait, what do you say? I was told to expect you, as you may not be aware, the Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Seizir and the Sultana, the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them? Let's do it. My apologies for calling you away from Charlie at such short notice. On the contrary, we're honored and grateful, and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. It was only right that this discussion could be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it's only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It's reassuring to learn that we're all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During our time in Charlie, and the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, the surge in abductions of the Kobold, Sahagin, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph at Radzit Han has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace, and it's you and the Scions of the Seventh Dawn who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Talaferoi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilzabard contingent. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered, robbed of their free will. They serve the Talaferois every whim without question. They too are victims. It's our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for a strategic or political gain, but because it's the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that, there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, on that we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Eorzea observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Telophoroi. There's certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. This world would appear to be substantiated by Y'shtola's analysis of the Tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on our observations inside the Tower of Zot, the Spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it's not being harnessed to our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it's being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good. But what would you have us do? I imagine it's more than handing over the scales of being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilzabard contingent. Consider it an official request both from the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. For honor and glory. Couldn't have put it better myself. Y'shtola, Thancred, and Eorzea have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive that you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilzabard. Ralban and Lord Emmerich are overseeing the preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known on arrival. Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold would do you in before the Telophoroi so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go, in the safe knowledge that Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Emmerich asks me, I'll say I'm getting on fine and leave it at that. Asks after me, don't you dare breathe the word about the cord. Fancy meeting you here. I trust a mutual friend is settling into the life of his scion. Collaboration never was his forte. The moment the fighting ended, off he'd go like a gale cat swept up in a strong breeze. Rest assured, he'll always be there when you need him, probably. I must quiz Thancred and Eorzea on the conditions we can expect in Garlemald. I know it's cold, but how cold? Will I need to keep my ears covered? They can be a bit sensitive at times. I'll admit, it's all rather daunting, though not quite in the way I was expecting. We'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with our alliance's finest, the best of the best, the warrior of light, and, well, me. It's silly, I know. Perhaps it's my way of distracting myself from the part I should be worried about, marching into Garlemald. You know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing who's been selected for the Ilzabard contingent. I have a few people in mind. Care to make a few friendly wagers? The Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading a contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize various delegations to a cohesive unit. Once we've seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall to disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Eorzea contingent. The very suggestion that we send some of our finest troops behind enemy lines and render aid unto Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. Sadly not. I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than a blade. Hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is peace of mind from knowing that Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsebard, and I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Word of your exploits travels quickly. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be at your side. So you're not coming with us. Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Talafaroi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But, though every motive of my being cries out for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would, place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Eorzea contingent, I would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return as a former legatus and attempt to raise me into a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I'd only hinder your efforts. I doubt they'd be pleased to see the champion of Eorzea set foot on Garlean soil. A fair point, but so long as you refrain from announcing your arrival to all and sundry, the average person should have no inkling as to your identity. Although your titles and deeds are common knowledge, only a select few would recognize you on sight alone. Perhaps one day they will learn that the Warrior of Light is not a demon to be feared, but a man deserving of their trust. In the light of Gaius' rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two, and if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you, all of you. Regardless of how my countrymen may receive you, the cold will not treat you kindly, underestimated at your peril. It really is just fantasy Russia. I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, when the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. Once we've seen the contingent on its way, I'll return to my duties here in Alamigo. As many of our most capable traveling with you to Garlemald, we who remain will have to fight that much harder to make up for the difference. But, let no man say that I do not welcome the challenge. Aye, this old bull isn't ready to hang up his horns just yet. With the knowledge that our allies will hold the line in our absence, we may devote our attention to the Ilsebardian front. So that's Gaius Balsar, the horrors he must have seen, many of his own making, so I do not doubt. Words. Like Gaius, I too stand accused of Varus' murder, though I am rather less recognizable on sight. Still, it's something to bear in mind once we reach Garlemald. I neglected to mention earlier that you'll receive a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. We received a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. While engaged with the Lunar Primal, a great worm swooped down from the skies above and came to their aid. The worm was described as a spitting image of Tiamat. It would seem she too continues to wage war against the Talafaroi. The other members of the Ilsebardian contingent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you're ready. Remaining members of the Scions, your friends are and most of the Ilsbard contingent await you within. Would you like me to see you through?
By the 12.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsbard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention.
It looks like all the class trainers are here. Yeah, that's Thaumaturge trainers. That's the White Mage. Is Ymithra here? The Dragoon trainer is here. I don't see Ymithra, but I do see the Scholar trainer.
Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must. I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation, here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughingstock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do. Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we.
The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the avatar of destruction.
Just the cards.
With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us.
I get the feeling something's gonna go horribly wrong.
To enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission.
Machinists.
Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
Lord Emanolaine? Ah, yes. Emanolaine de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
God. I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
No, they're all here. They're just hidden.
They've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Is it the
Out of my way!
Yes. Yes, it's them. It's them. The tribes.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Also, one of those gunblades just looks like the fucking Monado.
And you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as the steppe is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
I mean, there's a little bit of war involved.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
I know about them. I did the Alliance Raid series.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Maxima, who stands with us today, tried to reform Garlemald from within and make peace with Joma. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlond Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us. So, it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
That's so many people to talk to. Alka-Zolka! Greetings! The time has come for us Marines to show our valor on the battlefield. All who see us will know of our name and quake before our might. To victory come hells or high water. Have I talked with any of the other trainers here? Is one of the... No. What's his face isn't here. I forget who the Gunbreaker trainer is. I cast my lot with the Populares to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories. That all may be united in common cause, but we were disparaged as a radical element, dissenters looking to destabilize the empire from within. Many friends, even my parents, perished in unfortunate accidents. I too would surely have met the same fate had I not defected. Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for us all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day that dream will become a reality. Often Father has told me of the struggles faced by Alamigo in the days of the occupation, and I too have crossed swords with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, her grace is elected to bolster the Ilzabard contingent with members of the Immortal Flames. As representative of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. I think I started with so many people from so many places, I'm rather out of my element. Regardless, I'm a seed seer, and I'll endeavor to equip myself accordingly. I've led troops into battle many a time, but never a unit with such a diverse range of talents. While I've yet to be briefed on their capabilities, I expect you could provide any additional insight into their strengths and weaknesses. I'd appreciate any advice you may have. I have close ties with the Scouts of the Eastern Alliance and with various resistance groups, and they're an absolute joy to work with. Blessed are we who have made countless steadfast allies o'er our journeys of course. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances who, in time, shall we come to call our comrades and mayhap friends. I was half expecting to find the man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he's nowhere to be seen. I suppose he's had his share of unpleasant experiences with the Empire, but so have we all. Perhaps there's some other reason. Well, in any case, I have a feeling that I'll see him again once this is all over. I'm sure he'll be pleasantly surprised by how my swordplay's improved since we last met. This is extraordinary. To be in such company, the finest our allies have to offer. With comrades such as these, we are bound to succeed. I'm certain of it. I don't know, man. I'm a little worried. We've been a part of joint military operations like this before, and with far greater numbers, but for some reason this feels very different to our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there's already a palpable sense of camaraderie. So Lucia's in command. Regardless of her background, she's a temple knight through and through. I dare say her Garlean roots are all the more reason for her to lead this mission. Let's go. I'm just gonna... Actually, no. Amanda Lane, what's up? If I'd known what a social gatherings would turn out to be, I'd have dressed for the occasion. Still, this seems to be the perfect opportunity to mingle with our other guests. Would I be correct in assuming those ladies over yonder are Sirena and Sadu of the Steppe? Perhaps I should introduce myself, though I don't much like the look of that fellow with the enormous axe. Besides the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. I should have talked with Sadu and Magni. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, they would struggle to simply survive in the harsh climate of Ilzabard. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abduction by the Telophoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. Few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honors? I care not for the Iron Man or their troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in ignominy. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. Volunteer to join this band at Sirena's request, and if she thinks it's a worthy cause, then that is reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bonds have grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the Steppe's oafish men could dream to be. With the Mole, champions of the Nodam, and the Dothal having sent so many here, I had thought to defend the Steppe in their absence. And I would have done so were it not for my step-brothers. They urged me to grant our allies the sun's might that his radiance may deliver them on to victory. though I must tolerate the presence of this feral Dolthari dog. As first among my brothers, I could do no less than accept the challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Oh, the talismans! We are to keep them close at all times, yes? I will see that no one misplaces theirs. Before I forget, I have a message from Hien. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I've done his words justice. Doma, like much of Othard, has been plagued by the towers, yet, while he could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. Hien and Ugiri labor without rest to unite the people, and with their aid, will keep our enemy at bay. And we of the Steppe in the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts ending this war. Yes? So these are the famed warding scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. Under normal circumstances, I would not be allowed to travel outside the Twelves Wood. The Elder Seedseer, however, has granted me special permission. She has bade me to lend my magic to the people of Garlemald while learning all that I can of their ways. In so doing, I will come closer to understanding myself and my place in the world, or so she says. I say it's past time our allies benefited from the power at the Seedseer's disposal. Some bemoan that we hide our light under the bushel, and I intend to address that criticism. Ah, them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, aren't they? Reckon they'll be worth a gill or two when all this is over, but we'll hold on to them for now. One more thing. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't they send Einzar instead? Buggered if I know. All the Admiral and Captain Hilfier told me was that they needed someone to help safeguard the future, and here I am. Can't say that they got a sense of humor. Of course, some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land in the middle of the sodden snow of all places. Well, me and my crew will do whatever it needs doing, so let's set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. A set of warding scales I spy, not that I would know what they look like. Look at these! Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with ether. All the better to fend off the tempering waves? Is that the right term? Anyway, these will give us one less thing to worry about, which just leaves the other mountain of whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. One way to find out, eh? And nervous or not, I'd like to march through all 7 hells if it'll give me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. Warning scales for the Ishgardian delegation, I take it? Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted by this foray into Garlemald, sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw my lot in with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And now I lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. But this is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Emmerich. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and my former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I'll lead us to victory. Thank you for this, and for going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice if I may. You've been told by many to wear the cold of Ilzabard, and I cannot stress enough that this is no token warning. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemist Guild, but to understand that they are no substitute for proper protection. I leave the provisioning of said protection at your discretion. Now let us proceed to the Alamegan Quarter. While you make for your final preparations, I will have the pilots ready the airships. Since my revival, I've been lax in expanding my limited wardrobe. I think we have time for a quick trip back to Old Charlie, and I require a rather fetching coat. Preparations. I've got my armor and my lance. What more could I need? If you've anything you still need to take care of, you'd better see to it now. This coat's quite warm, but I have something rather thicker for occasions like these. There's no telling how long we'll be out in the open, and I can't go starting fires willy-nilly if we want to avoid detection. Concoctions to fortify the flesh against wind and cold are commonly sold in Ul'dahn markets, though they are of dubious provenance and efficacy. 'Tis said, however, that in recent days the Alchemist Guild hath produced a tincture capable of such a feat. Mayhap the achievements of Thavnarian counterparts did spur them to action, that they did not be put to shame. It's something of a constant refrain that we require warmer clothing. My present garb may be lacking, fur collar notwithstanding. It's our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Eorzea and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Estinien claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he's spent fair time up north recently as well, I see no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing the Grand Company's stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I would be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Hark, is that the cry of scions in need of a tailor, I hear? Tataru, give us our Season 6 outfits. Season 6 outfits? Endwalker's Patch 6? I have my ways. Yes, indeed. Thought you could sneak off to Ilsbar without telling me? Nothing escapes my notice. Now, you will wear these garments I've made for you, whether you like it or not. You never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Are you coming with us? What? No, of course not. It's all in the name of fashion, rather the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? I did have one other thing to share. Artemis and Bloomweeda have finally returned from their assignments in faraway lands. They'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while to keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. I don't know who these people are. Since they'll be running things back in headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Sharlayan? Why not? You can keep Krile company in the Beldessian Annex. We'd love to have you there, and I heard those people did a fine job carrying on in our stead while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, while I'm confident you won't go collapsing again because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'll be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Sharlayan. I really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing that I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. Here are your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. North Sea coat. Told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. There he is. This is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? Alright, I do not have time to do this right now. I've got to be work at 8 minutes, but... we are going to go... I want to check out this coat. Okay, can I put the coat in the armoire? I cannot. Okay. There are plates. Let's see. Not sure how I feel about it. Also, just bothers me that the tail does not come out from directly underneath the thing. Nah, I'll stick with my... I'll stick with my current outfit. I was hoping they'd give me gloves or something. Gloves and shoes, because I actually don't really like the gloves and shoes that I've chosen for this outfit. It's more out of necessity. You know what? Speaking of, actually, let's go to the gold saucer really quick. Yes, I know. I have to work in a second. Okay. Pot solver. So 2, 7, 9, 6. One, 6, 3. Ah, damn. 7. Damn. 7, 5, 9, 4. Nah. Oh, speaking of also, I still have no adventurers that want to join my thing. It's annoying. Oh, that's specifically female. These gloves are cooler. I'm really just not sure about the shoes that I'm wearing. Let's see, are there any better shoes over here? No. Nah. Are those dyeable? Could I dye them? Enable dye preview. Let's go. They are... That is actually kind of cool. Maybe those. I think the gold clashes a little bit. It's very clearly a different flavor of gold. But I think those boots look better. Let's consider the gambler's boots. No. Ishgardian thigh boots. I don't like how they're heels. Not a fan of how they're heels. I think the gambler's boots. Okay. Okay. Alright, they're not storable. I gotta glamour prism them. Prism in Gambler's boots. Crystarium greaves. Let's put those in there too. Okay. Water plate. Where is my current outfit? Here. So we are going... Honestly, the Crystarium Greaves do look kind of cool on this. And the belts sort of match better. Do I have better pants? No. Riviera slops. No. Scion Trellis shell. No. No. I think the Hakama actually might look a little bit better than the... Yeah, it has the same gold. I don't know if the boots are better than the... If the gambling boots are better here or not. Nah, I think Crystarium Greaves. Crystarium Greaves are better. Less stuff to possibly clip through and things. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. Update that, and then... Not Duty Finder. Portraits. Yeah, I think that works a little bit better. I am done for now, though. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let's see if there's anybody could toss things on over to. I don't want to rate anybody playing Splatoon. I don't want to be, I don't want to be, spoiled on side order. I don't intend to play side order for a while. Let's go raid Dandy in the Bronx. They are playing Pokemon Go. Thank you guys for hanging out. Raid message, you found the missing persons. I will catch you guys maybe this weekend. It depends. Until next time, adios. Thanks for hanging out with me.